Hey guys, it is MattySports bringing you my Week 13 predictions of the 2014 college football season. Last week in Week 12, I went 6-4, so I improved from Week 11. Games that I incorrectly predicted was Clemson, Georgia Tech, South Carolina, Florida, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Auburn, Georgia. I predicted Alabama over Mississippi State correctly. Got the upset special of Missouri over Texas A&M. And Florida State beat Miami in another come-from-behind win. So that was Week 12. Now we're on to Week 13, where once again we have 10 more games. Not that great of a week in terms of like stacked ranked versus ranked matchups. So it's kind of a slow week since it's kind of surprising because the regular season's almost done. So I thought there'd be better games, but there's not that many good ones. So I had to kind of stretch for a couple of these games, but we have two Thursday games on this list for like the first time ever. So first off, we have number 12 Kansas State traveling on the road to West Virginia. Now I almost consider this for the upset pick because West Virginia has upset teams already this year, and I've played teams that are higher ranked really tough and close, and it is at West Virginia. So I was considering it, but I'm going to have to go with Kansas State. Even though I like my boy Clint Trickett, I call him Pencil Neck. I'm just not feeling him, man. I'm gonna have to go Kansas State on the road. Next, we have an ACC rivalry matchup of North Carolina traveling to Duke. Now, this is the premier basketball rivalry, but this is football. And Duke has been on the rise in football for the past couple of years, and North Carolina was a preseason. They were predicted to do well this season, but things haven't turned out as planned. And because Duke's at home, I'm going to have to pick the Blue Devils to win this game. Next, we have a top 25 Big Ten matchup of number 25 Minnesota at number 23 Nebraska. Now, Nebraska is coming off of a huge loss to Wisconsin. Melvin Gordon just ran all over Nebraska's defense. And Minnesota came off of a loss to Ohio State where they played them really tough. So because of that, even though Nebraska's at home, I'm going to have to pick Minnesota because I was more impressed with how Minnesota played compared to Nebraska. And I do like Nebraska. They are one of my teams I kind of watch besides Florida State. So I like Nebraska, but I'm going to have to go with Minnesota to win this game on the road. Next, we have the Notre Dame versus ACC matchup of number 24 Louisville traveling on the road to Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame was undefeated for about midway through the season, but now they've been on a 3-game losing streak. Things just haven't been going right for them. Even though they are at home, I'm going to have to pick Louisville because Louisville's defense is really impressive. And with their wide receivers back, they were injured for the first part of the season. Their wide receivers make a difference, and it makes their offense 10 times better. So I'm going to take Louisville on the road to beat Notre Dame. Next, we have a Big Ten matchup of number 16 Wisconsin traveling on the road to Iowa. This is a game I also sort of considered for an upset, but once I heard Melvin Gordon's name again, I forget that I should not pick against this man. Wisconsin should take care of Iowa easily, so I kind of have Wisconsin big in this game to beat Iowa. Next, we have a Pac-12 matchup of number 15 Arizona traveling on the road to number 17 Utah. This is a pretty interesting game as both teams are definitely solid teams in the Pac-12 South. Utah has, again, been a lot better than I thought they would have been this year. They played a lot of games close, and they've gotten their fair share of upset victories. So is Arizona, however. I think it's going to be a really close game. But because Utah's playing at home, I'm going to give the edge to Utah, so I like Utah to beat Arizona at home. Next, we have Pac-12 rivalry game of number 19 USC traveling on the road to number 9 UCLA. Now, I almost picked USC in this just because I'm kind of feeling the Trojans, but UCLA's been on a roll recently. Brett Hundley's been playing great at quarterback, and UCLA has been dominating this rivalry the past few years, and Brett Hundley's still at quarterback, so I'm going to have to take UCLA at home to win this game. Next, we have a Big 12 kind of meh game of Oklahoma State traveling on the road to number 7 Baylor. This one's a pretty easy game for me to pick. I'll pick Baylor at home to win this. If Oklahoma State won this, then the whole college football playoff scenarios would be just go out of proportion. It'd be so weird and messed up, opening the door for TCU, but I think Baylor should be able to win this game pretty big. And next we have the upset special, and this team upset a team last week, so I'm going to pick them this week to see if they can do the same. And that is number 8 Ole Miss traveling on the road to Arkansas. Now, Arkansas shut out LSU last week, so that was quite impressive. And Ole Miss is coming off I think a really close win. I think they almost lost. But I think they have 2 losses on the season, and I think they're going to get their 3rd loss after this game. Arkansas has been a consistent team all year. They played top teams really close, like towards the final possession of the game, but they just haven't been able to find a way to win. But now last week they finally found a way to win. They got their first conference win, and I think they'll be able to turn that winning streak to 2 games in a row. So I'll take the Razorbacks at home. And lastly, we had the game of the week, where College Game Day will be going to, and it is going to an Ivy League matchup. Yes, you heard me right. Ivy League, FCS, I believe. I believe these teams are in the FCS, because it is Ivy League. But without further ado, we have the premier matchup of the Yale Bulldogs traveling on the road to the Harvard Crimson. Yes, College Game Day is going to Yale at Harvard. Personally, I thought they would have been going to USC, UCLA, or Arizona, Utah, but I guess those aren't really like that big, like in terms of playoff implication games. So I guess they're showing some love for the FCS, which I don't blame them. Yale and Harvard, the 2 most renowned schools probably in the United States in terms of education-wise. So I don't know about these teams that much in football or how good they are. I know that Yale only has 1 loss and Harvard's undefeated. Personally, when I have to choose the 2 between an education standpoint, I kind of like Yale a little more just because Yale, the sound of it, just like, I went to Yale. Or then you could say, I went to Harvard. Harvard, or Yale. Yale, Harvard. Yale, Harvard. So, it's a preference, but because Harvard's at home and they're undefeated, I'm going to pick a Harvard at home to win this game, so see if I'm right about that. But anyway, guys, that has been my Week 13 predictions. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Any of the games on this list, or any other games that I missed that I did not cover, just put a comment down. Anyway, guys, this has been MattySports, and I'll see you guys next week for the best week of the season, rivalry week of Week 14. See you guys then.